morning, good morning. So we're sitting here 2 days out from the show. It is Thursday, August 4:30 in the morning. As you saw, woke up, weighed in, did my posing, sent my pictures off to Jaden. I tried filming a video yesterday. Ultimately, the goal is to show you an inside look into day in the life of an online coach, what's required in order to pursue the best version of myself while also serving my clients and building a business. That is my ultimate goal with this channel. And yesterday, I shit the bed. I did a few videos in the morning and I really didn't have anything to talk about. So today, there's a lot more to talk about. There's a lot of changes. We're gonna go through what's happened with the diet up to this point. We're gonna go through peak week protocols, the final training session, got a couple podcasts, some meetings. We're going to kind of give a rundown of what's to come over the next couple of days. So I just took my morning supplements, sipping on my digestive drink, about to make a coffee, Nespresso, ultimate coffee maker for the person who likes coffee but is very lazy. We're gonna make a coffee, sit down at the desk, and then we'll go over the rundown of the changes we've made so far this week. So just sat down at my desk, same morning routine as every day. I wake up, make my coffee, I get to work. So today is Thursday, and on Thursdays, I do my check-ins with all of my mentorship clients. So I send them an email on Wednesdays. They give me an update on their week, some things that they're proud of, some things that they're working on, some things that they're having issues with. We discuss clients' case studies, and usually I will reply to all of these individually and then use the information in those check-ins to do my mentorship call with them at 1 o'clock. Because it's peak week for me, I asked them if I could cancel this week. They were all very supportive. When you have clients, whether mentees or coaching clients, who see you actively involved in the same process that they are, in that you're trying to build the best version of yourself, you're setting boundaries, you're prioritizing your needs, they are always fully supportive of you doing that. So having systems in place that allow you to pull back when you need to focus on yourself, super important. And then you're also supported by the people who are ultimately paying your bills. Again, super important. One of the things that I do suggest to everybody I work with is to have something called the terms of service. Terms of service essentially goes through the guidelines and expectations for anything and everything that your client should have of you and that you have of your clients. Make sure to send that out to them prior to them purchasing coaching, and make sure that it is signed prior to you starting, because what that's going to allow you to do is have something to fall back on so there's no conflict. Now, all of your service delivery is there, all your vacation time is there, all of your expectations with regards to communication are there, game day coaching, things of that nature. Anything that you serve your clients with should be in that document and fully outlined so that there's no questions. And it's a living document that at first you're going to miss some things and then you'll have a little bit of issues here and there, but anytime you run into any problems, you amend the document, you get everybody to sign, and then you're good to go. So just a little tidbit of information, something that we do religiously here at Master Athletic Performance and Coaches Corner University is make sure that all expectations are upfront and above board so that there's no questions later on. So I'm going to get my coffee. I'm going to get some of these check-ins done. I don't have cardio today. Jaden told me he was going to cut cardio. So I am just waiting for his reply to let me know what meal one is going to be. I'm going to try to get to the gym around 7:30, 8 o'clock because I have to be back here around 11 for a podcast with Tony Montgomery, which I'm very excited about. Tony and I actually started Coaches Corner University together in 2020. He's since moved on. He's doing his PhD and now he's working in the field of mental health research as it pertains to physical exercise. So very interesting man, one of my closest friends, been through a lot together, and I'm actually going to be on his podcast, which is exciting for me. After that, we'll go through kind of some of the things that have changed with regards to the diet. I'll probably do the dietary changes when we go through meal one. Yeah, there's been a lot of really subtle things that I think have made a huge difference. Put it into perspective, my body weight this morning you saw was 204.2. My lowest weigh-in to date was 205.8. That was yesterday. So 1.6 pound drop from yesterday to today, and calories were up a few hundred calories. Training was less intense. I did less cardio. So we're definitely washing away some fatigue. We're dropping off some water, and that's exactly what needs to happen during a peak week. I personally have a lot of trouble posing in the morning because I'm flat. I don't have a connection to my muscles, but I could actually feel like, even though I'm drier, even though I'm lighter, I could feel a connection to my muscles. I could feel like everything was flexing and moving. I will say one of the weirdest sensations, you probably can't see on camera, but I can actually feel my muscle moving under my skin, which just kind of speaks to how thin my skin is right now, which further iterates how bullshit that DEXA scan was last week. But anyway, and then the plan for the rest of the week content wise is actually we're going to film every day. So we're going to get as much content as we can out on the process of getting to the stage for me. Listen, I know I'm not a pro. I know I have no delusions of taking this sport any further than the local level, but I think it's important to show the victories can be personal, and this one is really fucking personal. I am doing this for myself, for nobody else, and I am so proud of the work that I put in, the results that I'm getting. In my eyes, I've already won. After the year that I've had, starting, this time last year, I was still in a wheelchair. Like, I can't put that into perspective enough. I was still in a wheelchair, unable to walk, and now I'm about to step on a bodybuilding stage with the best physique I've ever had in my whole life. If that doesn't tell you that you can do anything you put your mind to, I don't know what does. All right, so I'm gonna get to work, and we'll check in with you when it's time for no one. All right, so just took a 15-minute walk on the treadmill just to get some steps. Goal for today, 8 to 10,000 steps. I have to double check that with Jaden, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. No cardio, just about to sit down and have meal one. So essentially our peaking strategy for this week is very simple. I've already been drinking a ton of water, between 8 to 10 liters of water a day. That's including like coffees, energy drinks, water itself, diet soda, things like that. But starting Monday, we cut out all diet soda, all carbonated beverages, all energy drinks, but kept water really high. Again, just to reduce the amount of bulk in my stomach, because that carbonation tends to bloat me, keeps me full, which is great when you're dieting. But when you're trying to peak and you're trying to keep your midsection tight, it can have a detrimental effect. The other thing that we've done is over the last couple of days, we've slowly reduced vegetables. We've kept fiber high by keeping fruit in. And today we're cutting vegetables entirely at 2 days out to try and reduce stomach bulk as well. We have increased fruit again to make sure that we still have fiber in the diet and that we are still getting in those minerals and carbohydrates from the fruit as well. The other thing that we have done is eliminated sauces. So just salt on my meals. I do eat my meals with fermented food, so either kimchi or sauerkraut, which adds some flavor. I've also been having a couple pickles here and there, which does help as well. But today I'll cut those out because vegetables. I still will keep the fermented food in because for me that makes a big difference in my digestion. Lastly, we have taken an approach of very slowly titrating carbohydrates up. There's a few different ways to peak. You can either front load and eat a ton and then reduce your food right before the show to kind of wash off the water. You can backload, where you have a ton of carbohydrates towards the last 2 days before the show. In order to reduce the amount of digestive stress that I've been under, we're slowly increasing carbohydrates and monitoring digestion as we go. What's ended up happening is my digestion has gotten better and better over the course of the week. This morning I woke up, my midsection was the tightest it's ever been. My body weight was also the lowest it's been since undergrad, which is wild to me. And I was really happy with the way things looked. Jaden was really happy with the way things looked, and we've further increased carbohydrates today. We've also taken the step to decrease protein intake, which is again going to allow us to keep calories a little bit lower while still increasing carbohydrates, and also speed up gastric emptying because protein does slow digestion. So we want to kind of speed digestion up so that we can get those carbohydrates into us as much as possible. So this meal right here, it was 40 grams of cream of rice, 100 grams of berries, 50 grams of Greek yogurt, and about 50 grams of protein from collagen and whey mixed. Now it's 100 grams of cream of rice, 100 grams of berries, 50 grams of Greek yogurt, and then 35 grams of whey and collagen mixed. The other thing that we're doing today, which is going to be a little bit different, is I'm actually going to track all of the water that I consume. So I even measured the amount of water that went into my cream of rice. I measured how much coffee I was drinking. So I had 2 cups of coffee that are 250 mLs according to Nespresso. So that counts towards my fluid intake. I had a liter of water when I woke up, and then I will have another 700 mLs before training. So I'll be at about 2.5 liters of fluid before training. I usually have 2 liters of fluid while I train, but I'll probably reduce that a little bit so I can spread out my fluid throughout the day. But overall, feeling really good, ready to get this meal in. It is 7:10. I'll be at the gym probably around 8:30. We'll catch you then. All right, just got to the gym. It is 8:30. I'm gonna go do the final workout of the week. Training this week changed up a bit. So I did my last leg day on Saturday. Monday was a push workout. Tuesday was a pull workout. Both very light, focused on pump. Took things to like a 2 RIR. Basically followed the same session structure I normally would. Yesterday on Wednesday was a shoulders and arms workout. Just again, got a pump, got blood moving around. Today, gonna do a push-pull combined workout just to move blood around again. Gonna keep things very, very far from failure. Focus on connecting with the muscle. Probably 30 to 45 minutes at the most, and then we are going to do some posing. So I'm probably not going to talk very much during the workout. I'll film some of my sets and then film the posing. I'll get some steps afterwards on the treadmill, and then we'll head home for meal 2. All right, session went well. I did 3 sets of cable pullovers supersetted with pec flies, 3 sets of presses, 3 sets of pull downs, 3 sets of rows, 3 sets of flat presses. Then I did 2 sets of dips and 2 sets of rack chins, just to kind of open things up top. Then had a great posing session, probably the best I've felt posing post-workout. Stomach is feeling a lot tighter. I'm able to control my midsection. All things very, very positive. And I was actually able to connect and get a really good pump. I was about to sit and hit meal 2. Protein was brought down from 150 grams to 120 grams weighed weight. Rice was brought up from 200 grams to 275. We also added 100 grams of pineapple, and I brought down my vegetables from 100 grams cooked to 50 grams cooked. Salt is staying the same, and I'm measuring all of my water for the day, including all the water that I add into my cream of rice and all that sort of stuff. Trying to equate it to about 8 liters, and then Jaden's going to adjust my water tomorrow based on the amount of food that I'm eating, hopefully to, again, keep my midsection a little bit tighter. One of the things I'm noticing is I'm really hungry. My body seems to be like ramping up really quickly with the carbohydrates. So I'm going to get this meal in. We have a meeting at 11 o'clock, so I have 14 minutes. We have a meeting with a media guy who's going to help with some of the video work for Liv's pro debut, which I'm super excited about. Hopefully we'll get a photo shoot in, we'll get long form video in, and we'll have a ton of fun with it. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm recording a podcast at noon with Tony. Then I have a meeting with Jaden at 2:30. He's gonna run me through some poses. We're gonna go through the plan for the weekend. Then I have a meeting with another coach who's going to be taking over my training after the show. Announcement for that coming soon. Then it's just winding down and chilling, doing a little bit of client work and keeping the stress low. My steps for the day are at 4,500, so I'll probably try and get a walk in between the meeting with the media guy and my podcast with Tony, and then just kind of periodically get in these 10-minute walks throughout the day. Running through my meals as well. I think macros for the day, let me pull those up. Macros for the day, 244 grams of protein, 513 grams of carbs, 46 grams of fat, 3,570 calories. We're gonna get this in, hopefully continue to fill out and dry out, and we'll see you in a bit. Switched over to the old iPhone because Liv took the camera to the gym. I just filmed an amazing podcast with Tony. Talked all about mindset, talked all about motivation within the coaching process, the mentorship process. It's definitely going to be one that you guys want to listen to. We talked a lot about purpose. We talked a lot about how to find purpose in the things that you're doing. Honestly, over the last year with my recovery, it has been so transformative for me to truly dive into my purpose of life. I have such a keen understanding of who I am as a person now, simply by virtue of encountering hardship and coming out on top. This concept of anti-fragility, this concept of challenges making me stronger as opposed to making me weaker, that is core to my identity, and it's something that I try to teach everyone that I work with. So you're definitely gonna wanna check that out. Sitting down for meal 3, honestly really happy that podcast went so long. It was about an hour and 45 minutes. Pushed my meal back a little bit, and I'm starving, but spacing out my meals is probably gonna be the best for me from a digestive perspective. I tend to kind of pack my meals in quickly after training, but now, it's 2:12, which means that I won't eat my next meal until about 5, which means I won't eat my next meal until about 7:30, and then it'll be a little closer to bedtime. So hopefully I'll be able to sleep a little bit longer because my hunger has been waking me up in the morning. Still measuring all my water. I've had 2 liters since training. So since 11 o'clock, which puts me just over 6 liters for the day. I also had a black coffee. So again, still trying to get to about 8 liters of fluid per day, because then I give that information to Jaden, and then he'll modify that tomorrow as we get into the peaking process. So this meal is going to be 120 grams of beef, 96.4 beef, 50 grams of zucchini, 275 grams of rice. I've also got 50 grams of kimchi, and then I just had 100 grams of berries. Keeping fruit in for the fiber and for the minerals, and that's the process we're going to continue into tomorrow, where tomorrow vegetables will be completely cut to try to reduce gut volume. So essentially over the week, we went from 150 to 200 grams of vegetables per meal to 150 to 100, and now today at 50 grams. Tomorrow is 0. So I'm going to get this meal down. down and check in with you guys after. I got a little bit of work and then we got a meeting with you. Day got a little bit away from me. After that meal, I went for a walk and then hopped on a call with my new coach, Cody Miller. Cody owns a company called Hoopy Strength and Conditioning. He's going to be doing my strength and conditioning work for the adventure that I have planned for after this bodybuilding show. We ran over my program. He ran through kind of what to expect and things like that. It's going to be a whole departure from my current training, and I'm really excited for that journey. I had my next meal 4, during that call, which was 120 grams of chicken, 275 grams of rice, 50 grams of kimchi, 30 grams of raisins, and 50 grams of zucchini. Right from there, it was a quick turnaround into a mentorship call. I kind of got in the zone and was answering emails, replying to some mentee check-ins just to make sure that I got that done. And then by the time I realized it was time for a mentorship call with a group mentorship that I'm a part of, working on functional health and wellness, which for me is a massive benefit to my coaching. It has absolutely leveled up my ability to serve my clients, help them with their gut health, their hormones, read blood work better, and improve the quality of the service that I can provide. That's with Fortify Health Coaching, Sarah Bishop and Meredith Patchy, 2 women who are absolutely changing the game when it comes to functional health and wellness. That call ran a bit late. During that call, I actually prepped my final meal of the night, which Jaden has wanted me to experiment with some egg whites because we're going to do 100 grams of egg whites with every meal tomorrow to bring down protein. And egg whites tend to be really light and easy to digest for me, but we haven't had them in a while, so I wanted to test them out. So what we did is we did 40 grams of protein from egg whites, which was 300 grams. Made the meal very, very large. 300 grams of egg whites, 125 grams cream of rice, 125 grams berries, 25 grams peanut butter, and 10 grams of collagen. So huge meal, went down actually quite easy. I don't feel super bloated, but I do feel satiated. There was no vegetables in that meal. There was also 50 grams of Greek yogurt. I feel satiated, but I don't feel bloated. It is 7:30. I have 1,000 more steps to get in for the day, so I'm gonna go take the dogs for a walk around the block and then call it a night. So consider this like a full day of eating, a little bit of a rundown of the changes that happened towards the tail end of a peak week. And tomorrow we'll do another one, same thing, full day of eating, checking in throughout the day. Liv's gonna interview me a little bit, so you get a little bit of a behind the scenes. We're just gonna try and share as much about this journey as possible. One, so I can remember it, as important as it is for me, the amount of support that I've received, the amount of gratitude that I feel, the amount of pride that I feel. This has truly been a very special experience for me, and I want to be able to remember it. And hopefully by sharing that part of the process with you all, you get a greater insight into why it's important to push yourself outside your comfort zone and do hard things. And then on show day, we'll get as much content as we can from that as well, and make sure that, and then on Sunday, we have a photo shoot planned with Long Tap Media. He's going to meet us at a Gold's Gym, and we're going to get some pictures, make sure we remember the fact that I was shredded once. Then it's going to be about getting back to health, regaining my athleticism, and embarking on a new journey, which I will share with you all in the same fashion. So please make sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We'll catch you in the next video. And if there's anything you want to see, please hit me in the comments, and I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions and give you any more information that you would like. Talk to you soon.